There's a guy up there right now making a chemtrail. Right now I'm on the Putnam County Trail. They say no mini bikes, but whatever. As you can see, this guy's literally making artificial clouds. I mean, there he is. He's pumping away. And I know you can't see it, but there's literally a streak. Oh, look at this guy right in front of him. Where'd he go? He's right there. Wham. He's making another round. So you think these are passenger jets? You think those are passenger jets? I don't think so. Okay? They're blocking off the sun. The reason why they're doing this is because big, huge, major corporations pay a lot of money to pollute. Alright? And as you can see, they're always around the sun. Always around the sun. If you wake up in the morning, you'll always see them in the sun. Look, I'm going to put my sunglass lens on you for you, so you can go ahead and see. I mean, it's pretty bad. This is down here in Clay County, Florida. Actually, I'm down on the Putnam line. Anywho, this guy's really going to town. I mean, he's not playing around. And I don't know if he can notice me filming or whatever, but I'm sure it's not going to stop him, because they have plausible deniability. Anywho, the sun is starting to heat us up. Global warming right now is actually being caused by major corporations paying a lot of money to be able to pollute. And in order to stay alive for themselves, well, they're trying to build an artificial atmosphere. And in return, we'll charge you carbon tax, blaming you for all the pollution. And that is the reason why. And I believe there's also a lot of viruses inside these things. Well, I gotta go. There's people coming. And, yeah. Alright, well, hope you enjoy the video. Share and subscribe. Later. That looks normal to people. A zigzag line. One right there. Right there. Right there. One even going right here. Then you got a few actually cutting through right here. Look at that. That's unbelievable. Look at it. You can even see it way down there if you look close enough. Let me see. There we go. Way down there. A little Z for zero. I'm telling you. Anybody who thinks that these are normal clouds, look at that big, huge plume. Look at that. That's not a real cloud, I'm telling you. They're going to draw right out of the clouds, and they use this to control the weather. And us. They're using this to be able to get us sick. I'm telling you. It's crazy.
Tomorrow and the instruments of science which are shaping it may seem remote and fantastic, but yesterday's fantasies are becoming today's facts. How will these great advances influence and benefit our personal lives? Here in this film is an answer. Through an eternal vacuum, through blazing blazing heat and bitter cold, exposed to mysterious radiation, man-made satellites circle the Earth. Traveling at fantastic speeds, these eyes in outer space give us knowledge for future exploration, and also vital information that will lead to a better understanding of one of nature's great forces, the weather. With awesome violence and destruction, the weather is one of man's oldest and mightiest adversaries. But in its ever-changing moods, the weather brings us beauty. The weather gives us our daily bread. The weather makes possible all living things. And the weather certainly influences our daily lives. Yes, we have always been at the mercy of weather. When the weather is nice, we are happy. If the weather is hot and muggy, we tend to be frustrated, irritable, and even criminal. But if the fog rolls in, we are apt to be depressed. Thunderstorms cause fear and apprehension. Icy winds and snow seem to slow us down. In trying to predict these capricious changes in weather, we sometimes resort to rather questionable weather forecasting devices, such as an almanac, a crystal ball, a gouty leg, and the law of average. This is the master control room. Electronic maps and view screens display up-to-the-minute pictures of the weather around the Earth. Every hour, reports are automatically received from all points at sea, on land, and in the air. 22,000 miles out in space, 3 robot satellites train their sensitive television eyes on all parts of the Earth. These pictures are monitored on viewing screens in the Weather Center. Here in the computing room, electronic machines digest the constant flood of information received from all stations. This is then translated into an ever-changing diagram of the Earth's weather. Forecasts for every sector of the globe are made months in advance. Prediction charts have indicated that a powerful hurricane will begin forming today in the Atlantic Ocean. The electronic weather map shows an intense storm system building up about 1,000 miles due east of Miami, Florida. The controller calls for a close-up satellite view of the troubled area.
Coco 526, Yankee 2.5.
Okay, controller, Coco 526, Yankee 2.5.
The characteristic swirling clouds of the hurricane are beginning to form. At sea, the waves anticipate the violence to come. The controller calls for a last-minute prediction of the hurricane's path. If control measures are not begun at once, the hurricane will smash across densely populated areas within 48 hours.
EST.
A hurricane is forming 960 miles east of Miami, Florida. If control measures are ineffective, it will pass inland at Cape Hatteras in 48 hours. Control operations will begin within 2 hours, but safety precautions should be completed from Cape Fear, north no later than 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Eastern United States, between two low-pressure storm systems. If these two storm centers are intensified, the high will build up along the coast, forming a barrier that will turn the hurricane out to sea.
Stand by. Now pulling in satellite number 1 for visual check of low-pressure systems L20 and L21.
The operator brings the satellite into focus on the two storms, one centered over Kansas, the other over Labrador.
Changing the northeastern low, L21.
With the touch of a button, the battle begins. On the ground, chemical cloud seeders begin to work the two storm areas. Robot planes seed the clouds from above. The storm centers over Kansas and over Labrador intensify as seeding continues.
Now changing over to Hurricane Center HE.
The fury of the hurricane mounts as 100-mile-an-hour winds lash the sea to a foaming frenzy.
All stations, Sector C. Activate Phase 2, Control Plan Delta. Set vapor rockets for 42,000 feet. Execute.
As an emergency measure, the controller calls for a salvo of vapor rockets to be fired ahead of the path the hurricane is predicted to take. These artificial clouds will block the sun from evaporating more water to feed the hurricane. The reports coming into the control center indicate that the diversionary cloud seeding over Kansas is now creating a flood danger. Specially equipped robot aircraft are dispatched immediately to release a high concentration of cloud seeding material into the fringes of the storm. Heavier seeding from the ground also helps to subdue the rain by spreading it over a wider area. The controller calls for another view of the hurricane, which has now moved closer to the coast.
Signal out on number 1 satellite. 10-minute interruption for correction. Have you anything else in the area?
Satellite station S1 is approaching area. We'll make contact. S1, this is Weather Central. Request video signal at grid coordinates Coco.
An emergency situation has developed. In an orbiting space station 1,000 miles above the hurricane, a crewman sends a temporary picture back to Weather Central. The hurricane has stopped moving toward the coast, but is still intensifying. It must be made to move northward and out to sea. This is a crisis.
Aberdeen Station.
What you basically just saw was what it says right here. Some very eerie and mind-blowing scenes from a 1959 Disney film called Eyes in the Outer Space about weather modification in the future. Around 7:10 mark of this video is where the demonstration of chemtrails and HAARP-like methods are used. What's funny is it looks like they're using these machines against us, from the typhoons of the Philippines to the major tornado crisis that's been going on. You can obviously see that if you've ever been to Disney World, they literally are all about the future. It's all about, you know, there was literally a thing where it said, if you go to Disney World, it says that, you know, this is always keep in mind that when you're entering this place, it's the way of the future. You know, you're stepping into the future. So I just think it's kind of coincidental how this is what they were talking about back in the day, and here they are doing it now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Share and subscribe.